Moderna's record rally losing steam today as shares fell almost 6%. Even with today's drop, though, the stock has nearly doubled in just the last month. One analyst, though, says the run has been, quote, ridiculous, and he's calling for a big pullback. Let's bring in Geoff Meacham of Bank of America. Geoff, great to have you with us.
Hey, Melissa. Thank you. Good to see you.
So you think that this stock should be about 75% below approximately where it is right now? Why?
You know, I do. I would say over the past few weeks, the move has been so dramatic. And when you look at the valuation, you know, it's really, as of yesterday, it was very similar to Merck. And, you know, I'm not saying the company doesn't have a great technology. They do. And I also think they've done a great job investing back in the business. But the assumptions that you have to make to get to, you know, this valuation literally assume that you have about $1 billion in COVID vaccine sales per a billion doses every year from now till 2038. And you also have to assume that the probability of success, the entire pipeline is 100% and everything works, you know, and those are just not really safe assumptions, I would say. So I always go back to the model, and the model doesn't really reconcile with the current, you know, the current valuation.
So let's sort of tackle each of those assumptions, which you think are pretty lofty. In terms of the delivering the 1 to 1.5 billion doses a year through 2038, why is that not possible, given that you might need the vaccine itself? You might need boosters to the original shot, plus boosters on top of boosters for different variants. And it's a global issue.
Right, right. You know, it's interesting. We've done a lot of calls with experts from epidemiologists to, you know, infectious disease experts to really to people in the field, you know, treating patients. And the vast majority of new cases now are those that are unvaccinated. So the breakthrough rate is low. Moderna's vaccine and other vaccines are actually working. And I don't think there's a need to have annual boosters, certainly. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see perhaps every couple of years, but, you know, the immune titers, the antibody titers that we've seen, and they have slowed down, you know, since a person is vaccinated, they do naturally go down, but it doesn't justify, I think, you know, annual boosters, certainly not, you know, for those that have been treated, you know, just a few months ago. So I mean, I'm just of the view that, you know, we don't need annual boosters, and that is the feedback from, you know, many key opinion leaders, and also the CDC has stopped short of recommending that as well.
In terms of its pipeline and the assumption that 100% of what's in the pipeline makes it across the finish line, isn't it a greater probability now versus, let's say, I don't know, 18 months ago, that much of this pipeline does in fact cross the finish line because we have proof of concept now for the technology?
You know, you're absolutely right from the standpoint of the technology has been de-risked from a safety and tolerability perspective. You know, you don't give, you know, 500 million, almost 1 billion people the COVID vaccine without any real safety consequence and not have that make an impact. But I think you still have to go through the actual work, you know, of running trials for CMV and for flu. You know, these are programs that you still have to show, you know, disease resolution. For cancer, you still have to show, you know, tumor shrinkage. And for some of the rare diseases or cardiovascular programs, you still have to show a clinical benefit. So I think it's been de-risked, you know, from a safety perspective. But I would still think, though, you have to have, you know, the natural progression of drugs in development go through the clinical development process and have, you know, good efficacy and show a good risk benefit. And it's not that Moderna doesn't have those assets. It's just that they're pretty early in development.
Geoff, great to speak with you. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you very much.
Geoff Meacham, Bank of America. Underperform rating, no surprise given his commentary. And a $115 price target. Guy, what do you think?
Geoff does extraordinary work. I respect it. I mean, if you read the note, which I know you did, I mean, it speaks to exactly the reasons why. One of the risks to his assertions are accelerated approval of some of their products, which in this environment we could find ourselves having. But, you know, when he puts a $115 price target on it, if you've been long the stock, it's been an incredible run. I think you got to take notice. Now, I don't know if it goes to 115, but you could easily see on the back of a note like this and then subsequent notes from other analysts, the stock trade in the low 300s. So great run. Maybe it's time to take some money off the table.
Even with the pullback, it's worth just about as much as Merck or Amgen. Tim, would you rather? Ashley, would you rather Moderna, Merck, or Amgen?
Yeah, that's too complicated. I need guys' help on that. I would take Merck, and ultimately you have a case here where, and I think J.P. Morgan's note recently out is priced saving the world, but priced like saving the universe. And I think that's the story here. And it's very difficult. You almost have to DCF this, discounted cash flow. And you can come up with any number you want, but you throw heavy discounts and you give them the 10 products that they even have in their pipeline beyond this. And it's tough to get a number much above 300. So, no, I'm long Merck. I believe in what they do long term. And it's a very different story, of course.